started. Okay, guys, this is geometry. We're in Unit 1. And today is day 7. Day 7 notes. Okay, and it is Thursday, January 23rd. Saturday, me and Star have birthdays. Oh wait, today is your birthday? Yes, Michael. Guys, we gotta sing.
My birthday was yesterday.
We gotta sing to both of y'all. Come on. All right. Come on. All right, we're gonna sing to Michael and Mac. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Michael and Mac. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday! Aw, that's so exciting. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of what we did last week. Make sure we remember it. It's easy to forget things when we don't do them for a while. Who remembers what we were doing last week? What were we doing? Yes, JT. With the, say it again. Yes, what are those? Perpendicular bisectors, angle bisectors, constructions is what those are. Constructions, okay, and constructions, we use a compass. Okay, does everybody have a compass at their table? There should be maybe in one of the rectangle bins. If there is not a compass at your table, there could be one at another table. If there's not at another table, there's a whole bin of them up at the front of the room on that wooden shelf, okay? Let's everybody get a compass. Make sure we remember how to do this. Okay. So, if you were not here at any point last week when we were learning about these, we're just going to do a very fast run through, quick reminder of how we do these, how we do constructions. If this is not a detailed enough explanation, I will highly encourage go on Google Classroom and rewatch the lessons, or come in tomorrow on Friday during office hours. I'm happy to do a one-on-one with you, get you caught up. So, real quick, we learned 2 different types of constructions, okay? So I'm going to write constructions. Just a little recap of what we've been doing. And I'm going to write using a compass. Constructions using a compass. Okay, so we talked about 2 specific constructions. The first one, anybody remember? I heard a few of you say it. What's that first one called where we make a perpendicular bisector. So let's write that out again. We've got a perpendicular bisector. Okay, and that is the one where we are cutting a line in half, and we're making sure that where we're cutting it in half, that we're meeting at a 90-degree angle, perfectly straight up and down. So let's run through how to do that real quick, just as a refresher. Let's see, I need a ruler, don't I? Or just a straight edge. Say it one more time.
You said cutting a line in half.
Cutting a line in half, yes. So let's do a quick little tutorial. Remember how to do it. I'm going to use this. What's this called?
Protractor.
Protractor. Good. I'm going to use the protractor because I can't find my ruler. And that's okay. And I'm going to draw a line segment that is approximately 3 inches long. Doesn't have to be perfect, but about 3 inches-ish. Okay. Okay, and if this is your first time doing a perpendicular bisector, step by step, ask questions if you need to. Stop me if you want me to repeat something. What's the first thing we do when we make a perpendicular bisector? Where does the point of my compass go on the starting? Yes, JT. What is it? What is it? Vertex? Okay. Is it called a vertex?
Yeah.
Technically, no. This is not a vertex. A vertex is the point on an angle. Only whenever the point is making a V for vertex. Think of it that way. This is technically not a vertex unless it's on an angle. This is a line segment. Do we remember what we call these points? I'm not going to quiz you over it, but
I think that's what we call
a point. We could call it a point, absolutely. Could just be a point. A lot of times I like to say end point. End point, point. Yeah, both are good. Both are correct. But this is technically not a vertex. So just remember, vertex is only on angles.
Or you want to put it like just a little bit above halfway.
Yeah, so we're going to start with the point of our compass on one of the end points. And we want our compass to be opened up, and I'm going to lift this away so we can see. Remember, I'm going to start with my compass opened up a little more than half the length of this line segment. So like here-ish. And then remind me, what do we do from here? Once we've got it on the point, we got it open more than half.
create an arc.
We're going to create an arc. Now these are tricky to use. One thing I suggest, I've suggested a few different ways, but I found it's easiest to hold it on the pointy end. Don't hold the pencil, and just let the pencil kind of lightly make your arc like this. So you want to make almost like a half circle, like that. Okay. And what's my next step once I've done that?
Do the same thing to the other side.
Same thing to the other side. How big should my compass be open?
The same as the first time.
The same as the first time. You cannot change your compass. If it is open bigger than the first arc, it's not going to be the correct bisector. So if you move your compass on accident, whoops, it's not the same anymore. Just put it back on the point and line your pencil up with the arc. You want it to be as exact as you can get it, okay? So there we go. That's pretty close. I'm just going to flip it. I'm holding it by the pointy end, not by the pencil. Put it on that end point, and we're going to make another arc. Now, what do we need to make sure happens when we make our second arc?
They cross.
Yes, I need to make sure that they are crossing at 2 spots. So we have made them cross. I'm going to mark those intersections. Okay. So we got them. What happens next?
Draw a line
Draw a line. Where am I drawing a line?
between your two new points.
Yes, I need that line to pass through the 2 new points, the 2 new intersections that I created with my arcs. So I'm going to line up my straight edge on there and just draw a line going up and down. There we go. There we go. Okay. Yes, now there's something we need. We need a square
And tick marks.
and tick marks. Now who can remind me, what does this square mean?
90
It means that this is a 90-degree angle. What do the tick marks mean?
That is even.
That these are even. It means this is the same length as this. It means that they are perfectly split in half. So you need the square, you need the tick marks. Okay, there's our perpendicular bisector. We have any questions about that one? Uh-oh, you don't got your glasses, Keisha?
No.
Uh-oh. That's the worst. I hate not having my glasses. Okay. Can I move on to the angle bisector?
Go ahead. Almost.
Almost? Okay, I'll wait a minute.
So what,
Go ahead.
so what spot would I start? Because I just did it and mine came out the whole opposite way.
Let's see. Can you show me your paper? Ooh, so it looks like your compass was not open big enough. It's like you actually measured the halfway point perfectly. So let me show you what you did. What you did is your compass was open exactly this big. So when you made your arcs, you have one here and you have one here. And if it's open at exactly half, now mine was a tiny bit more than half, you'll see that you're not going to get an intersection. What's going to happen is just those circles are just barely touching each other. The way to fix that is to open your compass just a little bigger. That way you have circles or half circles that are overlapping. That's why we want it a little bigger than half. Because if you get it exactly half, they won't give you an intersection to cross through.
And so I put my pointer on the outside, right?
Uh-huh. So here, I'm going to draw another one. We'll run through it one more time. All right. So, I'm starting on my end point, and I'm making sure my compass is open more than half. Okay. I'm creating an arc here, and I'm creating an arc starting on this other point here. These are my intersections. Is this really difficult to see for you guys? I don't know if that pencil's too light. Are we able to see this okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. So these are the points that crossed. And we just make another line going right through them. Okay. Just like that. Square, tick marks. Okay. Did opening your compass up fix it?
A little bit, but
A
not really.
little bit. How much big did you open it up? Just like the tiniest bit bigger?
I opened it to 7.
Let's see. I'm gonna pause this. Let me look at your paper. Okay, unpausing. Let's move down my page. And angle bisector. So I'm gonna make another little section. Angle bisector. We're just splitting an angle in half. So let's begin by remembering how to draw an angle, okay? So everyone, you do need this. You need a protractor, okay? So take a moment, make sure you have one at your table. Does everyone have this little half circle tool, a protractor? Everybody got one? Awesome. So let's start with let's do a 60-degree angle. So whenever we draw an angle and we want it to be a certain amount of degrees, we're going to start by drawing just a straight line at the bottom of our page. Doesn't matter exactly where it starts. I'm just going to put it about this long. I want my line to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, about 3 inches long. Okay. Now one end of your line has an arrow. The other end has that end point, just like this. Now, does anybody remember what this is called?
Right.
A ray. Good. Remember, it's like a ray of sunshine, because the sun has a starting point and then its rays shine out from that point forever. That's what happens with a ray. So we have a ray.
You said 16 degrees?
6D. 6D. So, we've got our starting point, our ray. Does everybody have their ray drawn? Does anybody not have it drawn yet and need a minute? I'm going to take the silence as you're all ready. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So let's take our protractor now. And remind me, where do I put my protractor on this ray? I want my dot, my end point, to line up with this dot, this hole in the protractor. So I'm going to slide it over. I'm going to line it up, just like that. And then I want to make sure that the end with the arrow is also lined up. Now, these protractors are not super accurate, okay?
Which one should we go with? The middle one?
Say that one more time. What do you mean?
When I put the middle one down where the hole is,
Mm-hmm.
the 6 doesn't, the 6 or the 1 doesn't, or the 0 doesn't align with it at all. So I don't know, especially go by the
You want to go by where this line here above where it says 6, this would be our 0. Yeah, this would be 0. So I want my end point that will become a vertex in a moment to go lined up with the hole above 3. And then I want my end with the arrow to line up where we would be at 0 right here on the outer edge. See that? Okay, everybody got this so far?
Yes.
Okay, so because my angle is pointing to the right, that means this is where my angle starts and then it opens up this way. So, which set of numbers are we using to count? The numbers on the inside or the outside? Inside. Why?
Because it's closer to that side.
Because it's closer to that side? Yeah, so let's think about it. If I'm starting from the right, which numbers start from the right side from 0 and count up and get bigger as they go? The inside numbers. It goes 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, da, 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 da. If I were to use my outside numbers, it won't work for drawing a 60-degree angle, because when I find 60 on the outside, it's all the way over here. Okay, and I'm actually going to accidentally draw a 120-degree angle if I do that. So let me line this back up. Okay, so we're going to make a mark for our 60-degree angle. Here's 10 degrees, here's 20 degrees, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay, everybody see where 60 degrees is? So you have two options for where you can make a mark. You can either make your mark inside of this semicircle right here, right below the 60. You could also follow 60 to the outer edge using that line that goes through it and make a mark here. Both are correct. Okay, so what you should have now is a ray at the bottom, and then you've made a dash or two to show where 60 degrees would fall. Is everybody to this point? Does anybody need some clarification on what I just did here? We're all okay? Okay. So what do I do next?
Draw a line.
Draw a line. I'm going to connect the dots from my dashes to my, it's going to become a vertex now. There we go. So let's do that. Let's connect the dashes to the new vertex. Boom. There's my 60-degree angle. Okay. So I'm going to just write over to the side that this is 60 degrees. Remember, degrees is that little O above the number, like this. 60-degree angle. Okay. Everybody got their angle drawn? Does anyone need help? Okay. All right, so let's make sure that we understand how to do an angle bisector. So let's get our compasses out again.
Okay.
And as a good rule of thumb, remember, your starting point is always going to be a point, okay? It's always going to be some sort of intersection point. It's never going to be randomly in the middle of a line. So just like here, we had endpoints that we used. Here, where's the only point that makes sense to start at? Your vertex. This point right here that connects the rays. This is our vertex. So our starting point is here. All right, so I've got it lined up. Now, what do I do with this starting point, guys?
Make a half moon.
Make a half little moon. And what do I need to make sure that my half moon, my arc, my half circle, where does it need to cross through? Yes, it needs to cross both of these lines or these rays of my angle. So I always say, as a rule of thumb, it's good to have your compass opened a little less than halfway on the angle bisector. However, you can still do it if it's opened bigger. It just might take up more space on your page. So let's start by holding it here, and we're gonna Okay, so here is my first arc. It is passing through both of these. See that? So let's everybody get their first arc drawn. Everybody got it? Okay, so what do I do from here?
Go to where it cross on each line.
Yes.
Point there.
So guys, just like the perpendicular bisector, we're always going from points or intersections. Same thing here. We started with the vertex or the point. Now we've got two new intersections, here and here. Those are going to be our next starting points. So let's start with the bottom. I'm just going to keep my compass opened about the same as my first arc. And where should I make sure my arc is going this time? Say it one more time. The opposite way, like this way?
You want to point
Inside the
in two
angle.
lines.
So we want it, and you didn't get to see this lesson, but it's a good guess. We are going to take our point on the intersection, and whenever we make our arc, we just want to make sure it's inside of the angle. So I'm going to do one like that. Okay, so it's inside the angle. And then last but not least, we're going to do the same thing on the other intersection. And what should I make sure of for this last one?
In between the two angles.
Yes,
The same way you did the first one.
same way we did that last one we just did, but we need to make sure that it crosses that last arc. So I'm going to make another intersection. Boop, just like that. You guys see that? Okay, so again, we're always looking at intersections, points, places where things are crossing. So I'm going to mark that third intersection I created. All right? And we're almost done. We're almost done. What do I do from here?
Draw lines to start your vertex.
Yes, draw a line from the vertex to the third intersection we made, the very last one. And that's going to cut our angle perfectly in half. Just like this. Beautiful. And that's it. That's all there is to it. That's it. Okay. Do you have any questions about that, you guys?
You have to label your new angles.
Label the new angles. Good catch. Yes. So let's label these new angles. Now I have this angle.
30 degrees.
And this angle. So Michael says these are 30-degree angles. How'd you know?
Because it's half of 60.
Yeah.
Yes, because half of 60 is 30. I know that when I split my angle in half perfectly, they are the same measure. Okay, so if I have two angles that are the same measure, when I add them up, they better be equal to the big angle that I started with, 60. So 30 and 30. Very, very good, guys. Any other questions? Any other things to point out? Okay. We feeling okay about that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah? Okay, so remember, if you have not turned in your day 3 exit ticket yet, make sure that you get that to me today.
I have a question.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
For the taker bakery,
Mm-hmm.
I'm lining it up right, but it says 110. So I know, am I going this way?
So
Or the other way?
it looks like, let me flip your page real quick, let me see. Okay, so you have it started just like this one. We had a line. I'm going to tell you, for the 110-degree angle, you might have to move your line more in the center of your page so that you'll have enough room. So referring to the day 3 exit ticket, just a quick tip. If you are starting with your ray like this, and you're drawing a 110-degree angle, remember, whichever direction that first little ray is pointing, that's where the angle starts opening. So we're still looking at the numbers on the inside.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough room to make marks at 110, right? So that when you do it, it'll look something like this. Now do the same thing, just with a different size angle. Okay. You are welcome. All right, guys, so there's a little review of what we did last week. Let's talk about what we were, yes. Oh, are you done with it?
Yeah.
Perfect. You can turn it in under the folders. There's a little tray that should say geometry, and I will get to grading it this evening.
I've got 2 and 3 done, so.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, guys. I am about to move this. Does anyone still need it before I move it? I don't want to take it away too quick. Can I move it?
Good.
Okay. Awesome. So this was page 1 of our notes. Just a little review. And we're going to get into what I wanted us to get into the last couple of days. So this is page 2. And it's day 7 notes continued. Still geometry. Unit 1. Okay, so let's see. Oh, this is a good little tip. Okay, so something that we just barely introduced last week was solving for missing angles. So there are 2 different types of angles that we like to start off with. This may have been introduced to you the last 2 days. If it did, great. It'll just be another review for you. If you were not here for that, then, you know, I'm going to teach it to you. So let's write some new words down. Let's first write complementary. 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 And then instead of writing out the word angles, this is the symbol for angles that I always like to draw. It's just going to be like an angle and a little arc in it. So complementary angles.
That looks a little odd.
Yeah, it kind of does. Or like a little sideways A, an A that fell over. Complementary angles, and then I'm going to give myself a little space. Give me that much space. And then I'm going to write supplementary angles. Supplementary angles. I don't know, I kind of like it when goes over it a little. I hope I spelled that right. Supplementary. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay. So, does anybody know what a complementary angle is?
90 degrees.
Ooh, 90 degrees. 90 degrees. So, is it just a 90-degree angle is a complementary angle? Or is there something more to it?
90-degree angle. Right.
So it does have to do with 90-degree angle, absolutely. Let me give you the actual kind of little definition for you. Complementary angles are angles that add up to 90 degrees. So, perfect. So let's write that. Angles that add up to 90 degrees. And I'm going to draw myself a little picture to remind myself what 90 degrees looks like. 90 degrees is always going to be that perfect little corner, and it always has the box inside of it, the little square. So they have to add up to 90 degrees. So for example, here's what that might look like. They give you something like this. Okay. And then we're gonna put some points on these angles because I was looking at the PDFs I posted on Google Classroom, and I actually really liked how they were naming the angles with letter names. So let's talk about that a little today. Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. So let's give these points names. I'm gonna call this A, B, C, and then the one in the middle shooting out is going to be D. Okay. Yes.
Is there a quiz next week?
A quiz next week. I'm going to say most likely it would be good for us to try and put a quiz in next week, but you will have a warning before. And before we ever do a quiz in here, we will always do a practice quiz where you're basically going to get a perfect copy of what the quiz will be. We'll go over everything together. You will have nothing left to your surprise. You'll know what to expect. The quiz itself will be the same thing I give you, just with different numbers. So, yes.
Could you put a bug into Miss Leslie's ears for physics and kind of like get her on the same wagon you got Mr. Null? If we do that, we can get a
Oh, yeah,
redo?
She didn't let us do redo.
Oh, no redos.
No redo, so kind of like, you know,
Oh,
do your Miss Taylor thing.
I don't know.
Oh, come on, please.
I can't be. I'm gonna pause this.
You know, you don't have to go up front and say, hey, you need.
So let's talk about naming these angles. So here's an example of two angles that are complementary. Let's say this angle here is, let's go with 40 degrees-ish. And we would name this angle using the three letters that are included in it. So, what three letters are included in my 40-degree angle? A, B, and D. Now, there is a special order that you need to write them in. The vertex, or the middle point here where the rays are connected to, needs to be the middle letter in your name. So it needs to be A, B, D. B's got to be in the middle. So we would name this by writing angle A, B, D. Angle ABD. And we could say equals 40 degrees. Okay, so for my other angle, how would I name it?
BBC.
DBC, good. DBC. Anybody know how many degrees DBC would be?
Yes.
How many?
50.
50. How'd you know that?
Because it's a 90-degree angle.
Yes, this whole angle ABC, is 90 degrees. If I know that one of the angles inside is 40 degrees and they have to add up to 90, well, 40 plus 50 is 90. So, DBC is 50 degrees. And since it is not the same measure as ABD, instead of drawing one arc to label it, I'm going to draw two, a different number of arcs to show it's a different angle measure. So 40 degrees, 50 degrees, and then ABC for the whole angle, angle ABC is 90 degrees. There we go. So we got that. Angles that add up to 90 degrees are complementary. Complementary angles make a corner. Think of it like that. Complementary corner. Okay, does anybody need this up here still, or can I scooch my paper down a little?
Scooch away.
All right, I'm scooching. So next we have supplementary angles. Anybody know what these add up to? Yes. 180. So supplementary angles are angles that add up to 180 degrees. And what does a 180 degree angle look like?
The protractor.
Horizontal line.
It's just
It's a half a circle.
yes, it's like half of a circle, meaning whenever you open up an angle, and I'm going to draw an example, if this is the start of our angle, and we were to open it up all the way a full half circle, that is 180 degrees. It's going to form a straight line like this. And here's our arc to show it. That's a 180 degree angle. We can also call it a straight angle. So the trick they taught us in one of the PDFs I posted is complementary makes a corner, supplementary makes a straight line. Complementary corner, supplementary straight. So the similar sounding C corner, S straight, yeah, you know, little tricks.
Got it.
I was trying to figure out how did that.
Yeah, so complementary corner, supplementary straight, you know. Okay, so angles that add up to 180 degrees. And let me double check before I tell you wrong. I wonder, it might have to be two angles. I wonder if it can be more than two. No.
Okay, I've got a question.
Sure.
Okay, supplementary is 80 degrees, right?
Supplementary 180,
Or,
yes.
you know, 180
Yes.
is what I meant. 180 degrees, which is a half circle,
Yes,
but yet it's straight.
yes.
Confusing.
Okay, so let's talk about it. The straight line that we see is the rays themselves, kind of the boundaries of the angle, right?
Okay.
So the half circle is the rotation part of it, meaning like here's our ray, and let me,
Like our protractor.
Yeah, I was about to say the protractor is a
Yeah, that's
example
what.
of-
Yeah.
Okay, the protractor.
yes,
That's
yes.
it.
So
Okay.
it's like you see on a protractor, there are 180 degrees on here. It only goes up to 170 being marked, but we know that if I go 10 more from 170, that's 180.
Yeah.
10 more from 170, that's 180. So you can see the rotation from 0 to 180 creates a half circle,
Yes.
but the actual rays that are the boundaries of the angle, it's a straight line.
It works. Okay,
Yeah.
That clicks. Okay.
Good, good, good,
That
good.
works.
No, and I'm glad you asked. I want you guys to ask those things. That's perfect.
Awesome, Matt. Thank you,
Yes.
Dave.
Okay, so we have angles that add up to 180 degrees. That's what we call supplementary angles. Okay, so for example, let's make a little example. I'm going to draw a straight line with a little vertex in the middle. Okay, and let's just put a little ray sticking out of it at some point. Let's see, what would that be about? It's like 55, well, it might be right at 50 degrees-ish. Okay, let's say this is 50 degrees. Okay, and let's give these names. Let's call X, Y, Z, and then the one that's sticking out here, let's go, I don't know, Q. X, Y, Z, and Q. That's the points I'm giving you. Let me zoom in a little so you can see that better.
So the first angle will be 180, so the X.
Ooh, yes. Yes, it would be.
Y,
Yes. So the angle that we do know, we've got 50 degrees. And then Mac, you already figured it out. That's awesome. This other angle is going to be 130 degrees. And we'll go through that step by step in case anyone isn't sure how she got that. So this is 130 degrees. Okay. And can you repeat, how did you name that 130 degree angle?
X, Y, Z.
X, Y, Q. Good. Is anybody confused about why it's X, Y, Q?
Because the Y has to be in the middle.
Yes, the Y has to be middle. Could I also call it QYX?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. You
Yeah,
can.
just as
It
long
doesn't
as
matter
the
as long as you have, yes, as long as Y is in the middle and as long as you're using the correct letters. It doesn't matter if Q comes first or X comes first, but Y has to be in the middle. I'm going to go with angle X, Y, Q equals, we said it's 130 degrees. Then we have QYZ or ZYQ, either works.
And then it's X, Y, Z.
Yes. So we have QYZ is 50 degrees. And then our full angle, XYZ, is 180 degrees. There we go.
And don't forget to put your angle.
Yes.
Name
it with the angle.
Just now.
So if you're a color coordinator kind of person, we can do a little bit of this. Sometimes this helps. I'm going to put my, see ya.
Thank you.
Okay, so X, Y, Q, that's my 130 degrees. This is optional. You don't have to color code it. I just like to. My QYZ, 50. And then XYZ, 180. There we go. Okay. All right, and I believe I marked everybody here. Good, good, good. All right. Any questions about the supplementary angles? Or the complementary? Yeah. Have a good weekend. Okay. I guess while we're at it, I'm going to color code these two. May as well. ABD. BBC. And ABC. Boom. Okay, so there's some notes.
Did we ever turn in the worksheet number 1?
Worksheet number 1. Oh, so the worksheets, I believe that was just some class extra practice, optional. You didn't have to turn it in for a grade. but it's good practice and it's going to help you in the long run. So optional. If you don't do it, I will never know. If you do, amazing. It's good for you.
I was just curious if it was still on there, so.
I gotcha. No, not do. Not do. Okay, so can I move my paper down a little? Okay, take your time. Take your time. I'm gonna pause it. Oh, you're done? Perfect. Okay, so let's put these concepts into context. That just was a weird sentence coming out. Let's use this. Let's use this. So, let's see. Here is an example. All right, examples. So let's say I have two angles that are complementary, okay? And I'll draw it. So here is my 90-degree angle. And let's say let's name them. Okay. A, B, C, and then D is going to be the angle sticking out in the middle. So here's how I'm going to give you measures. So here's your given. Given means I'm telling you that this is what it is. So given that angle ABD is 33 degrees. I want you to find the measure of angle DBC. Okay. So, I'm telling you that ABD, my smaller angle here, is 33 degrees. And I want you to find that missing angle. Now, because these angles are complementary, what do they add up to? 90 degrees. Perfect. These will add up to 90 degrees. So, does anybody...
Subtract half of 90, 30,
57.
Yeah, yes, exactly. We can just take our whole angle, which is 90 degrees, okay? Let's see.
57.
I know that 90 degrees is equal to whatever this angle is plus this angle. So ABD plus DBC is going to make 90. Those two angles are complementary. I know ABD is 33, so I'm going to go ahead and write that. 33 plus DBC we don't know yet. Let's pretend we don't know it yet. That's okay. You are probably, I think you are correct though. I'm bad at mental math. I'm just going to call it X.
Okay.
Okay, we'll call it X because it's a missing value. Now before we get started, is anybody confused about how I wrote this equation from this problem?
No.
Does anyone want me to go through it at all? You guys got it. I love that. Is there anybody that does need to hear another explanation? I'm so more than happy to explain it again. Okay. Okay, if not, come see me. Tell me. So we've been solving equations. It's been a while for for all of us, honestly. It's been a minute. So what do we do to solve for x?
Subtract 33 from 90.
Subtract 33 from both sides. Thank you. Okay, so 33 is gone. 90 minus 33 is 57. Good. Very, very good. So, that means the measure of DBC, angle DBC, is 57. And it's 57 what? Degrees. Good. So in geometry, we're not just talking about numbers, we are also talking about units of measure. And in this case, our unit of measure is degrees. We're talking about angles. Angles are measured in degrees. So we have 33 degrees and 57 degrees. Okay. Okay, every person in this room, check yourself. If there's anything I wrote up here that you're not sure, even just a little bit confused about, tell me what's going on in our brains. How are we feeling? Or is any of us feeling lost at all?
I can't say I feel way better in this term than I did last.
Good.
So
Yay.
supplementary is 180 degree
Mhm.
angle?
Yes.
And our complementary is 90 degrees?
Yes. And something that I think helps is remembering complementary. It starts with that k, k.
Yeah.
So it's going to make a corner like this, corner, 90-degree corner. And then supplementary, because it starts with that S, it's going to make a straight line always.
That was messing up with them IXLs. I was like, hold
Mm.
on, what is
Right.
going on here?
No, and that's why I wanted to go over this again with you guys because, okay,
All right,
see ya. Have a good weekend.
Oh, shucks, it's about my time too.
Oh.
I just looked at the time on my
I
It's
know.
about my time too. Jesus. All right.
So there's a good little example together. There's an example together. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's do a supplementary one and then I'm going to set you guys free. We'll get back into it next week when I'm actually here all week and we'll do some actual learning. Today was a good review day though. I think this was important that we did this. So one more example. I'm going to draw a supplementary set of angles, a straight line with something coming out. And I'll name this Q, R, S, and T. So I'm going to give you QRT. Why do I feel like that's an abbreviation for something? Is it? Maybe, I don't know. QRT. I'm going to have to look that up. I hope it's not something bad. QRT. Angle QRT. Let's say, gosh, what's a good estimate for that angle? That would be roughly 125. Close-ish, maybe. Maybe 120. Let's just say it's 120 degrees. So QRT is 120 degrees. So given that that is the measure of this angle, you would need to find the angle of, what angle do you think I'm going to ask you to find?
TRS.
TRS, good. Find angle TRS. So because these angles, when you put them together, they form this straight line, what happens when I add them together? How many degrees would they add up to? Angle.
180.
Yes, yes. QRT and TRS, when I put them together, they make 180 degrees. They make a straight line. So, what equation could I write to solve for the angle that I don't know?
180 equals 120 plus X.
Yes, we're going to call this missing angle the TRS. I'm just going to put X. You could put any letter you want. We would say 180 is equal to 120 degrees plus whatever this is. 120 plus X. And if you prefer to have your equation flipped around, like 120 plus X equals 180, that is just fine. That's the same thing. So how would I solve for my missing angle here?
Subtract 120 from both sides.
Good, subtract 120 from both sides.
That's correct.
Yes, 180 minus 120 is in fact 60. So, angle TRS is what? 60 degrees. Good.
And QRS is 180.
Yes, and QRS, the whole angle, is 180. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. All right, guys. Let's see. I am not giving you an extra ticket because it is Thursday. However, if any of you would like extra practice just for fun, I think I have some from last term that I can hand out. So if you are interested, stay in here. I'm going to end the video. That's it for today. Don't be stressed out. We're going to be doing a whole bunch more of this next week. I'll make sure we all feel good about it. I am sorry that I was not here the 2 days. I know that that's a lot of time to miss. So we'll get caught up. But that is all. Enjoy your weekend. The end.